They fell into a whirlpool of emotions for which they were unprepared.
Frank, mind that tube. Those ones aren't attached.
They rushed into it headlong and re-emerged 5 years later.
Don't move, I'm testing it.
An unexpected event that had stunned the whole world. Had plunged them overnight into this extraordinary and unforeseeable adventure. 5 years to rebuild a masterpiece. 5 years of racing against the clock. 5 years of challenges. 5 years of pressure. 5 years of turmoil. Did it teach you anything about yourself?
Oh yes, most definitely. In a way, I feel lucky that it happened to me at this age, because if I still had 20 years ahead of me, I'd find the rest pretty dull.
Is there a trait you had that's been accentuated because of the pressure of this project?
Intransigence, very clearly. I'm very demanding of myself and of others.
And it's got worse?
And it's got worse and worse.
It's gonna be war.
We treated Notre-Dame as if it was a person.
I tell everyone Notre-Dame is very addictive.
Really?
Very, very addictive. So for the last 3 or 4 months, I force myself to go to my studio at least 2 days a week to get back to my old life.
Architect, carpenter, specialists in paintings, stained glass and scaffolding. We followed them over these 5 years with one goal, to understand how each person, depending on their personality, was going to be transformed by this incomparable experience.
It was such a crazy experience that the day it reopens is going to be tough. We're going to be happy, but at the same time we'll feel robbed of something we had all to ourselves.
They said it was the project of the century. They were wrong. It was the project of a lifetime. Philippe Villeneuve is someone who's both central to this story, but also apart from it. At the time of the fire, he'd been chief architect of Notre-Dame for 6 years. He is explosive, emotional, hot-headed, and passionate. Do you need to be outspoken to run a project as big as this?
Yes.
Are you outspoken?
Yes.
When we first meet him on site, 6 months after the fire,
Good morning.
we soon realize that this is a man with a mission. A mission that begins and ends with Notre-Dame.
I've been in love with Notre-Dame ever since I was a kid. Really, it's visceral.
Did you have posters of Notre-Dame in your bedroom?
Worse than that, a model.
I read you have a tattoo of the rose window over your heart, is that true?
Yes, it's true.
Really?
It's funny because everything I've done up to now is ultimately leading to this. The rescue and then maybe reconstruction, what have you.
So your real mission began on the 16th of April?
Yes,
And everything before that was in preparation for this moment?
it was in preparation. Yes, definitely.
Do you believe that?
Yes, I think so.
Julien Lebras was also there before the fire. The carpentry company he runs was restoring the spire of Notre-Dame. After a sleepless night being interviewed by the police, the day after the tragedy, he was one of the few people authorized to return to the cathedral with the fire brigade.
On the morning of the 16th of April, when we returned to the cathedral, There were these cinders on the ground that crunched under our feet as we walked. You could see the light. You could see the sky through the cathedral roof. It was unbelievable. And there was also this big silence, because there were, I think, about 30 of us who entered the cathedral at that moment. And everyone was affected by the sight that met our eyes. So yes, there was this silence and this heaviness that we all felt.
And the moment when you entered the cathedral for the first time?
Well, I didn't go, oh my God, what a disaster, my poor cathedral. I was like, right, that's holding, that isn't, that's holding, watch out for that. I was like a robot. The tribune must be cracked. There must be a crack somewhere in there. That means if it ever fails, everything will come down. A lot of people thought I'd never get over it, but in fact, on the contrary, the only thing I wanted to do when I saw everything lying on the ground was to put it back up as quickly as possible. I was obsessed with it. I wanted to forget about it, and the only way was to rebuild it.
The day after the fire, Philippe Villeneuve called in Rémy Froment to assist him. At the time, he was a chief architect in the Auvergne, but he knew Notre-Dame like the back of his hand, as he'd carried out the only survey of the cathedral's roof structure during a final year internship in 2014.
There we are. In a way, Philippe came into his own after the fire. He gave it his all, and he succeeded in passing on that energy, because after the fire, everyone was pretty down. But then there was this surge of energy, and I think that Philippe was one of the big factors in that. Apart from that, he has a foul temper, but he knows that, and we love him for it.
He loses his temper sometimes.
Not just sometimes. He loses his temper because he's extremely passionate, so in this case, the fact that the cathedral had been damaged meant he'd been damaged too.
I immediately knew what had to be done, how it had to be done, in what order it had to be done, and what I needed to do it.
The priority on the first day was to save the gables, the two stone triangles on either side of the nave, which were no longer supported by the roof structure.
The fire brigade had just explained to us that the north gable, particularly, was swaying every time there was a gust of wind. They explained that they'd evacuated the residents of the Rue du Cloître, and that it was essential to secure that gable very quickly. They gave us 24 hours to do it.
Within 24 hours, large pieces of wood were found and made into braces to hold the stone in place. The south gable, which was less dangerous, was also saved. Then the flying buttresses were strengthened with wooden hangers, made to measure. Notre-Dame is a family affair. This speedy intervention was the work of a very discreet man, Sylvain Lebras, Julien's father, and a carpenter by trade.
What a team.
Who worked behind the scenes to save Notre-Dame. We'll meet him again later, because he's a character to whom the key will be found at the very end of the story. But for the moment, there's another emergency at Notre-Dame. Some of the stained glass windows are in danger. They need to be moved away from the site. Emma Groult has a small studio near Paris. She was at home one Sunday when the telephone rang.
It began with a simple call from the architects, saying you have to be on site tomorrow, and we'll get everyone together and explain what needs to be done.
Did you know?
We didn't know anything. I was having a meal with my family. We were at the table with my daughter, who is very little. So it's true, I wasn't thinking about it at all.
And you said to her, Mummy's going to save Notre-Dame.
For my older daughter, I made up a story about a man who'd sneezed really hard on the roof of the cathedral and the roof flew away. because I didn't want to tell her about the fire. I didn't want her to be worried by it. So it was a gentleman who sneezed, and then it was all gone. They let us in through the side of the building, and that's when we saw the disaster. We were all quite taken aback by the smell of the fire. I'd never been in a burned building before, and the smell was very, very strong. Even for several days after, I felt like I could still smell it everywhere.
The stained glass windows were now safe, but more complicated, more dangerous, more frightening were the 316 tons of scaffolding that had been erected around the spire in order to restore it and burned during the fire. Now it was threatening to collapse. Didier Cuizet was the man who had erected the scaffolding, which had now been destroyed, and the person who now had to take it down. Except that nobody knows how to do it.
We were very worried about the scaffolding. Yes, I think it was the most difficult operation. And it was complicated in the points that Philippe mentioned. There was the stabilizing, but there was also, of course, dismantling the scaffolding. And I mean, for Didier, I think we'd have had a hell of a time dismantling that monster.
Ironically, Didier Cuizet, the scaffolder, had fallen down the stairs at home and had to stay away from the site for a while at the end of 2024. But the day after the fire, he was naturally one of those who entered Notre-Dame.
I just had one obsession, which was to see the scaffolding. We went along, and as we went along, we'd keep stopping all the time for 5 or 10 minutes because the architect was looking and analyzing, saying, "Okay, there's no danger here." I was there. I didn't dare go any further, but I absolutely wanted to steam on towards the crossing to see the scaffolding from below. So, after a while, I got to the corner and I looked up at the scaffolding and I thought, bloody hell, how are we going to get this down? That was the first thing I thought. How the hell are we going to get that down?
It could threaten the cathedral, it could fall outside the cathedral, it could fall inside it, it could fall on people in the street, it could collapse.
During the first few days, the scaffolding suddenly dropped by 16 centimeters. So Didier Cuizet went in underneath to put in jacks to stabilize it. If Didier hadn't done that, we wouldn't be here today.
That's what you call courage.
It's real courage. And he only told us afterwards that he'd done it, because I'm not sure he'd have been allowed to do it.
You don't think you're risking your life when you're doing it. You're high on adrenaline. You don't think about it at all. Can you imagine me thinking, that's my impulsive side.
Yes.
Imagine me thinking, I might get killed if this falls. We're all going to die. If you thought about that, you wouldn't do it.
No.
Dismantle the back, but gently. Don't take it all away at once. Don't go in like that. It's not meant to be done like that.
The first time we followed Didier Cuizet on site is one night in November 2020. He's been battling the monster for a year and a half, and the monster is still there.
Position yourself inside, facing out.
To stop it collapsing, the tubes have to be removed one by one, and in the right order.
That we take away. Clear each side. We'll do the same there. Get rid of both of them and clear 2 meters to each side. Those ones there, get rid of.
Yeah, we'll get rid of them.
Get rid of them both, 1 meter to the left and right.
Does this change people?
Yes, it marks them. Even I've changed. You're bound to be marked by an experience like this. You're tired, you get bags under your eyes. You look 10 years older and you don't know why. Yes, you know why.
The tubes are sometimes so difficult to reach that the scaffolders call in rope access technicians.
I've never removed burnt scaffolding before. I've never worked on a building this big, which is also unstable.
In rope access work, Gregory Vacheron, a former rugby player, has found a job that matches his love of physical activity.
There's never been a burnt-out structure like this left standing before, so we don't have a precedent.
Important question. How do you combat fear in these situations?
We're not alone. In this job, we work in pairs, so it's something where you're not necessarily alone in a situation.
Can we go?
Yeah, you can go. If it doesn't feel right, you don't do it. It's not a problem. You're not going to put yourself in a tricky position if it doesn't feel right.
Have you ever said, I'm not doing it?
No. Never.
For this dangerous operation, the riggers are guided by the scaffolders and architects. Each tube removed is a victory for everyone.
This shows you very, very clearly because I didn't think it would have this effect on me. I'm a bit tired. In fact, you don't realize when you're securing everything, the architects, and I realized this afterwards on another site, we inspire trust. When you tell a rigger that they can hang on to something because there's no danger, or not to hang on to it because it's dangerous, the guy trusts you and goes for it. It's a huge responsibility, much worse than saying, if we make a mistake, it doesn't matter, we can take it down in 30 years. If you kill a guy, you kill a guy.
You're thinking about it all the time. All the time. You don't want anyone to fall or have an accident. But obviously, this was 100 times worse because it's a bit more complicated.
The most crucial operation for the scaffolding takes place on the 18th of November 2020. It's a big day for the project, and a big day for Didier Cuizet. He has a girder connecting the whole thing to remove. So what exactly is going to happen?
What we're going to do today is to uncouple these girders. For the moment, everything has been held together, but now everything is going to be completely uncoupled. But we're always afraid of movement or the wind. That's why we wait for days when there's no wind. It's not so much the weight of the girder weighs a ton, it's the 28-meter span. If there's a gust of wind, the crane operator will have a 28-meter girder swinging about in all directions, so it's solid and fragile at the same time. But it'll all be fine.
We'll fly over the presbytery and bring it down here.
Is this the last tricky operation this morning?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah. It's the last.
Did you sleep well?
No. I didn't get much sleep last night. I'll sleep better tonight.
Is it an important moment when you remove the girders?
One of the most important.
It's 9 a.m. The operation has begun. Franck is in the first gondola on the south side, his colleague Joe in a second gondola on the north side. Didier, in a third gondola, is supervising the operation. And then in the middle, the famous 28-meter metal girder that the team has to free without the whole thing becoming unbalanced. Seismic sensors have been installed everywhere to monitor the scaffolding. And at the 20-minute mark, they do their job.
Didier to Régie.
Yeah, there was a shock at 0.6 degrees.
There's always a shock, even if the girder doesn't hit anything. When it uncouples, you get a jolt because it's attached to the crane. You always have this little movement, which makes the scaffolding move. So, of course, the sensors were activated. Is he coming back?
Yeah, it's coming back.
Perfect, that's good.
The operation started an hour ago. Franck's side is making progress, but Joe's end is blocked. Didier is getting impatient.
Joe, you've got another tube going across to your right up there. I'll try to get it, Joe. It's stuck. You'll have to pull the girder towards you. Hang on to your clamp. Pull on it and push your tube. Hold your clamp. I told you to hang on to it. Is it okay? Is it completely free your end, Frank?
Affirmative.
I've got a side that's tricky up there. When it goes up, Joe will have to pull it slightly towards him.
Start to lift it slowly and keep it taut.
The girder is free, and they move on to the phase where the game will be won or lost.
Lift. Lift. Go on.
Move it away, Joe. Lift.
Lift it gently. Lift. Lift. That's it, Joe.
No, it's stuck on the pins. Lift it more.
Go on. Lift. Lift. Go on. Release the rope. It's good.
Well done to my guys. They're the ones who count.
Was that what the whistle meant?
Yes, that was the whistle.
What were you thinking about when the girder flew out?
Honestly,
Yes?
my wife, who was worried about me this morning when I left.
8 days later, and the scaffolding has gone. Tonight, everyone has stayed behind. A page has been turned.
It's nice to be going up with you, Didier.
Officially, the project family have come together to get a new viewpoint of the transept crossing.
This is good. There are only 3 bits left. What a relief.
How does it make you feel, seeing this?
Two things. First of all, I'm happy that the company was finally able to get rid of that carcass. And at the same time, I just can't bear it. Can't bear it.
What?
That. I mean, it's so brutal. But fortunately, this project is a wonderful human endeavor. Do you hear what's going on behind us?
Okay, let's go.
Up in the gondola,
Yeah.
what were you hoping to find?
Relief. I think that's what we were hoping to find. Because there was nothing left to see. Scaffolding was gone.
It was a great moment of relief for them. And for me, too.
On a beautiful morning in November 2020, a small ceremony symbolically marks the disappearance of the last pieces of scaffolding.
Long live France!
Go on, take your photos. Stay there.
At this point, a character with a powerful voice enters our story. General Georges-Louis Georgelin, former Army Chief of Staff, fervent Catholic, appointed by the President of the Republic in 2019 to lead the entire project, with one aim, reopening in 2024. Does this make you happy to see?
When leading an undertaking of this scale, we have to contain our joy. We have to keep looking ahead and see how far we still have to go. This is an important step, but we still have other difficult steps ahead of us.
And so, there are two leaders here, the chief architect and General Georgelin. Although the atmosphere between the two men is relaxed here, this wasn't the case when the general arrived in 2019. Because he set the cat amongst the pigeons in front of a parliamentary committee by saying some rather unkind things about the chief architect, who had publicly given his opinion on the spire.
Madam, I've already explained it to him several times, and I'll do it again, so that he shuts up and allows us to move forward wisely, so that we can calmly make the best choice for Notre-Dame, for Paris, for the world.
Do you forgive General Georgelin for what he said?
Not only do I forgive him, I thank him for having done it.
Why?
Because while some people were trying to kick me off the project, in the end what he said was very counterproductive, at least for those people's purposes. Because it annoyed a lot of people. They said it was disrespectful to the architect and that you don't do that sort of thing, etc. So, humble as I am, I became a bit of a political issue. I was just a tool for the politicians. And that's when the Ministry of Culture, which supervises the public establishment, told the general, "You don't talk to the architect like that, and what's more, he'll be doing the reconstruction. Kindly move along." So in a way, the general saved my skin.
Despite these minor squabbles, the project had to go ahead. The first rescue phase had already taken a long time, and there were only 2.5 years left in which to finish. For the reconstruction phase, calls for tender were issued. And the best artisans, all keen to take part in this prestigious project, were responding. As did Emma, who waited impatiently for the verdict. Did you go to sleep every night thinking about it?
Yes.
Every night?
Yes, it's true.
In the end, the decision was made by the project authorities.
Which naturally leads, sir, humans being what they are, to some people being happy and others unhappy. The happy ones shout for joy, and the unhappy ones wail. That's how it is. To lead, sir, is to decide.
On the ground, the clock is ticking in everyone's mind. And obviously, in that of the architect.
Who could have foreseen that would be interrupted because of COVID? No one. Who could have foreseen that we'd be prevented from removing the scaffolding by unbelievable weather with tornadoes and storms and such like? We have a date that we have to respect. General Georgelin has made a commitment, I've made a commitment, and that's all there is to it. We're doing all we can.
But while the architect wants to see the spire rising from the transept crossing, the archaeologists have moved in. And the problem is, they're very happy, because they found a large amount of wonderful remains which are holding up the project. This evening, their boss has a meeting with the architect to convince him that he needs even more time to continue digging. He knows that Philippe Villeneuve is in love with Notre-Dame. So, mischievously, he's laid a sheet over his findings and pulls it back gently, watching the architect's reactions.
Oh my word.
It's
Just,
Yeah.
they put it, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's incredible. You'd have to be, I don't know what, not to be amazed by these kinds of things which are at the heart and soul of my cathedral. So I'm touched. But at the same time, I need to rebuild my cathedral, so do what you have to do to get all of this out.
We need a few more days.
We'll see.
Honestly, it won't be possible by Friday.
But it's not up to me. You know that.
The dig will end the day after tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, clear all that out. Sort it out. See what we've done? What day is it today? Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
For the archaeologist, it's actually a foregone conclusion. These discoveries are tremendous.
All the pieces we found are museum pieces. We knew about 8 fragments of the rood screen, which are in the Louvre, but here we found hundreds of pieces, some weighing just a few grams, others more than 400 kilos. We've never excavated anything like this before in our careers as archaeologists.
A few days later, the archaeologists, them again, make some new discoveries. This time they found some bodies in lead sarcophagi, which they're taking away from the cathedral to study. They'll discover that they belong to Canon Delaporte and possibly the poet Joachim du Bellay. But just then, the archpriest of Notre-Dame, Monsignor Chauvet, turns up unexpectedly, interrupting their work.
Behold, you delight in truth in my innermost being. You teach me wisdom in the secret heart. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Let me hear joy and gladness. Let the bones that you have broken.
Monsignor Chauvet was ordained as a priest in 1979 at Notre-Dame. At the time of the fire, he was celebrating Mass there every evening. He has lost his stage in the flames, the nave in which his voice rang out. Since then, he's been excluded from his own world. He has become the first of the banished. The day after the tragedy, he dared to express his sorrow in front of everyone.
Our cathedral is the Cathedral of Paris. It's the heart of France and beyond. It's the cathedral of the world. In any case, that's what I've realized. I haven't made a speech because since Monday evening, as you can imagine, I've been very tired.
What did you learn about yourself during this period?
What did I learn about myself? that it's a difficult emotion to deal with. I was devastated, tired, and I couldn't imagine. I lost. I didn't lose my mind, but I felt I was completely drained, broken. I was broken. I didn't think I could be broken, but I was broken that night. That's it. It took me a long time to get over it. You don't go through an ordeal like that. Yes, it takes years.
Right.
You see, it's complicated. I've got 50 keys.
The first time we met Monsignor Chauvet was in 2019.
Let's go.
In the Maison des Chanoines, a stone's throw from Notre-Dame, where he'd taken refuge.
Careful on the stairs.
That's when we realized that there are some people that can't be kept down for very long.
So, in the kitchen, you're going to see Alzira, who's the one working. And on Saturdays and Sundays, we're the ones who are here.
What's that?
Paupiette.
They're lovely.
I like cooking, so I suggest things to Alzira. You know, when you're single, you have to find things that are easy.
And simple.
And simple.
But you're very good at cooking.
Yes, I know. We're going to see something important that I asked Mr. Cadeau, the prefect, to do 2 months ago.
Monsignor Chauvet always manages to get what he wants for his cathedral.
We'll go this way.
He found it too sad that, for months, Notre-Dame had been in darkness at night.
There we are. It's going to light up. Look at this. It's when the Hôtel Dieu lights up. If you look above the colonnade, there's all the open work. It's beautiful. No, it looks good.
Did you insist on this being done?
Oh, yes, I insisted on it.
Yes?
Yes, I insisted. I went on and on about it and asked until the curate got fed up with me and turned on the lights. And there we are.
With the canon's body, Monsignor Chauvet reasserts his position.
I made it clear that I wanted this body to be returned to the cathedral out of respect for it and its history. It's good that it's there. All right, see you soon.
The archpriest wants no one to forget that the cathedral is, first and foremost, a place of worship before being a building site or an excavation site. Notre-Dame is a giant chessboard where everyone plays their part. A boxing ring where the first to let his guard down loses. Sometime later, we find ourselves with the king of the chessboard, General Georgelin, who happens to bump into the chief archaeologist after having granted him an extension.
We were talking about you earlier. They explained to me what you wanted and I understood what you wanted, so we've extended the deadline.
Everything went well yesterday with the second sarcophagus.
You took the second one away, Canon de la Porte.
That's right.
You'll give him to Monsignor Chauvet.
That's the plan. Thank you very much.
I thought he sounded very responsible. He clearly understands we want to get the cathedral finished not in 20 years, not in 15 years, not in 10 years, but in 5 years.
Isn't it heartbreaking to know that there are all these wonderful things underneath it?
Stop. I'll tell you what I told your colleagues on the news. What do you want us to do? Knock the cathedral down to excavate?
The boss has spoken. The reconstruction work can finally begin. In the spring of 2022, the results of the calls for tender will be announced. Notre-Dame will be restored to its former glory, especially since the fire has provided the opportunity and the means to do the job fully, to the point of revealing its original beauty. One of the selected artisans is Emma Groult. To restore 5 bays of stained glass, a total of 250 pieces within the given time, she has had to recruit a team.
It's given me a huge amount of confidence in myself, because I was, how can I put it? I felt I was capable of managing a project on this scale. And it's true, it's given me a lot of confidence and serenity.
Really?
Yes. It should be there. Is it there?
Yes. Perfect.
It might be good to take photos of everything, both of the stained glass windows and the ironwork.
Okay.
Because we won't be putting the ironwork back. The aim is to take everything out so we can take it to the workshop. We're trying to see where it's attached and where the metalwork moves without too much difficulty.
Once cleaned and restored, the stained glass windows will let in much more light. Inside, restorers are bringing the paintings in the cathedral's 29 chapels back to life. One team has already restored more than half of the chapels. It's led by Marie Perron.
In all, we have 16 chapels, 2 passageways, and the chapter house and sacristy. So you can see the dirt, the grime that we've removed.
No.
Yes, so this is the residue of everything we removed from the walls.
It's sometimes said that the artisans are nursing Notre-Dame. They're right.
I'm injecting it. It opens up the pores of the plaster. It helps to open up all the little veins. So I'm injecting it and it comes up to here.
Do you feel like a nurse?
It's our job for me and all of my colleagues to extend the life of works of art so that everyone can share the beauty of Notre-Dame.
So what do you think?
Yep, but those spots there...
No, it looks worn. It's not bad.
Okay.
Since there's stone next to it, it looks good. I think it's good like that.
Okay.
When you love paintings, working here in the most emblematic cathedral in the world for months on end is obviously not just any old experience.
I have a colleague who says, I arrive here every day dancing because I'm so happy to come to Notre-Dame. It's a wonderful sight. I'm happy every morning.
Have you managed to maintain a normal life despite this abnormal project?
You'd have to ask my husband. He sometimes gets a bit annoyed by Notre-Dame. Normal life? Honestly, no. We think about it all the time. I reduced the teams after a year and some of them were crying because they were leaving.
And so the cathedral is changing. The Saint Marcel chapel was black, but now it's full of colour. Nobody has seen its vibrant hues since the restoration by the architect Viollet-le-Duc in the 19th century. And it's also this that will astonish people entering the cathedral on the 8th of December 2024. Especially since the colour of the stone will also change.
Check là.
Have you grown used to all of this?
No, I'm amazed every time I walk into the cathedral. The building carries us. We work for it. I'm working for two entities, Philippe Villeneuve and Notre-Dame de Paris Cathedral.
You know they're the same thing.
They're definitely the same thing.
Before and after. In other words, the cathedral, as visitors from all over the world saw it before the fire, the dirt you see here wasn't necessarily caused by the fire, it's dust and grime. The last time it was cleaned was in the time of Viollet-le-Duc. Cleaning the stained glass windows is going to make light flood into a cathedral that once had a reputation for being dark.
It's going to be very different.
Totally.
But the architect's plans are sometimes thwarted by others, who have other ideas about the cathedral's beauty and a lot of influence. Such is the case with Father Gilles Drouin, who has been given the exciting but difficult task by the Archbishop of revamping the whole of the inside of Notre-Dame.
It's complicated because the cathedral belongs to all the French people and all humanity. So legally it belongs to the state, in the sense that it belongs to us. We're the beneficiaries. And this is the grace of Notre-Dame, that it affects everyone. The President of the Republic said, and he was right, part of us has gone. So obviously, as soon as you touch anything in Notre-Dame, everyone feels concerned.
Is it all going to be all right?
Yes. Yes.
To accomplish his mission, Gilles Drouin has brought together a team of professionals, including a sound designer.
Great.
And a lighting specialist.
That's good. That's great.
Drouin's team is preparing a revolution, of which the centerpiece is this little candle-shaped light, which will sit on top of every pew in the cathedral. Pews similar to those they've just installed in this chapel in Paris.
You can say that you want, for example, the Stations of the Cross to be lit up, but not the stained glass windows next to them. We can illuminate things that are more or less important in right scenarios.
The second revolution is that the pew is not only illuminated, but also wired for sound. The wood of the pew will amplify the priest's voice.
The idea of having a sound system in the furniture and benches is to get as close as possible to the congregation. So the pew will have a feeling, a sound system that is close to me, that speaks to me. That's the aim.
A new prototype of the oak pew has just arrived.
Good morning, Alan.
And the sound designer is going to test it out, to find out where to place his speaker to create the best sound.
It also means the resurrection of Jesus. Are we attentive to the signs he gives us?
We've completed the first assembly with the two pieces.
Like all revolutions, the sound and light revolution isn't going to be easy to carry out. Because this pew, championed by the clergy who see Notre-Dame as a place of worship, is not to the taste of the architects who see Notre-Dame as a historical monument. The battle here will be fought over every detail. The confessionals, created by Viollet-le-Duc, are being defended by the architect who sees them as museum pieces. The clergy, who no longer use them, want to see them gone. The wooden furniture.
Yes.
Do you want to keep it?
I do.
And the clergy?
No.
Who's going to win?
Well, the clergy is the beneficiary, but we've managed to ensure that these confessionals won't leave the cathedral, so they'll be placed in the galleries up there. They won't leave the cathedral. Just throwing them in a skip. No, that's not something we should do.
But the cathedral isn't a museum. That's the whole debate we've been having. Which cathedral are we going to rebuild? Viollet-le-Duc's cathedral? We're no longer in the time of Viollet-le-Duc because we no longer celebrate in the same way. It's a living place. It's not frozen in the past, however prestigious.
Is Notre-Dame a place of worship or a historical monument? Both. General.
What I want is for all this to be done in an amicable fashion, not for everyone to argue for 6 months about whether we're going to put the confessional here or there, or move it 30 centimeters or put it in this chapel. That's all.
On the 6th of September 2022, the project will experience a rare moment, a key moment, a moment where it gets its revenge on fate. After a 3-year wait, tomorrow, Didier Cuiset will finally be able to put up his giant scaffolding tower in order to build the new spire.
What's funny is that you'd think this would be a perfect rectangle or a perfect square, but it's not at all. There, it's done. And there, and there.
We're standing where the archaeologists were. Tomorrow, 600 tons of scaffolding will be erected here, reaching 100 meters in height.